this is a keyboard that I think is underappreciated. It's a Keychron K2 HE, the latest version with Hall effect switches. It has these little magnets in them that let you do crazy stuff, like change how far you press to actuate. And some people call them cheating. And this might just be the best all-around keyboard right now. Specifically, it's for gamers that want a typing experience that doesn't also suck. And you don't want to pay a fortune for a keyboard, this is the one. But to really show you its place in the market, we need to compare it to the best gaming keyboard out right now, the Wooting 80HE, or even the Wooting 60HE. The 80HE is wicked fast, it has amazing software, and it's the best gaming keyboard, hands down. With that being said though, it does have some major drawbacks. It's expensive, doesn't have the best typing experience, and the aesthetic, it's not for everyone. Personally, I think the 80HE looks like a block of cheese. A good block of cheese though, like pepper jack. So how does the K2HE compare? Is it good for gaming, and just how much cheaper is it? Also, did you know this keyboard docks? Using it pretty heavily for the past month in between testing different keyboards, and it always ends up back up on my desk. For good reason too. I think it has something to do with the dual rail switches, but what really drives this keyboard home is that the design looks good. Like you could use it in an office without your coworkers whispering behind your back, "Does he have a gaming keyboard? Does he play games?" The special edition comes with these wooden accents on the side that make the keyboard feel and look premium. And when you look at all these features combined with this price point, I think the K2HE is an objectively better value. But let's be real here, the Wooting 80HE is objectively a better gaming keyboard. I'm not gonna argue with you there. It takes the top spot. But if you're looking for a more all-around multi-purpose keyboard, I think the K2HE is better. Now, most people don't need a Formula One racing car. They just want a comfortable SUV with sport mode, and it still feels plenty fast. And that's what the K2HE is. If you want a Hall effect keyboard on a budget with a great typing experience, stick around and learn more. And what if I told you that Hall effect keyboards can make you type faster? And they sound just as good as mechanical keyboards. Later in the video, we'll do a more in-depth comparison with the Wooting 80HE. Now, this video is not sponsored. This keyboard has just been a favorite of mine recently, and no one is talking about it. So let's nerd out together. So when I first got this keyboard, I thought it wouldn't be anything special. It's just another Keychron keyboard. But I have to say, Keychron nailed the aesthetic on this one. Both the black and the white versions look nice, with the black being my favorite. The wooden accents look amazing with the wooden colored keycaps here, the enter and escape key. It comes in a compact 75% layout with all of the keys smushed together. This gives the keyboard a unique look, although from a functionality standpoint, it does make it easier to accidentally hit different keys. There are no spaces between them. Unlike the Wooting board, which gives you gaps between the function row and the number row, the arrow keys and not everything, you don't have this problem so much. But the K2HE also comes with some nice quality of life features. It's got tri-mode wireless for easily taking the keyboard on the go. You get two sliders on the side. One is for switching between Windows and Mac, and this is nice if you want to connect to multiple devices, such as an Apple device like an iPad, but then switch to something else like your Windows PC. It's intuitive and it's easy to use. You also get this toggle for wired 2.4G and Bluetooth connection, depending on which way you want to connect. And it works right when you plug it in. Go Keychron! On the back, you get dual kick of feet for 3 different typing angles, and this makes it easy to find your ideal way to type. I also like the lighting button on the top right, which you can press to switch between all their different RGB settings. Although personally, I prefer that to be delete. You know, you can just switch those two around. In the box, you get a cable with a 90-degree head on it, and this is because the charging port is on the side. The cable's also braided instead of plastic, which gives it a nice textured feel. You also get a 2.4 gigahertz dongle along with an extension adapter, which I absolutely love. I wish every keyboard gave you this. Now, for reference, the black one comes with black accessories, the white one comes with white accessories, and this thing lets you put the receiver close to the keyboard for a better connection. It makes makes it easy to plug in when your battery drops. Although I do wish there was an onboard storage solution for this one, so you don't lose it when it's not in use. It's pretty small. Other keyboards have this, and it's awesome. You also get a keycap and switch puller combo. Keyboard is hot swappable, so you can swap out the switches if you want. Although for reference, I'm pretty sure all HE keyboards are hot swap, so not really a feature here. And the switch puller side, it's not very good. If you plan on swapping out the switches, I recommend you get something like this one. And these are 1,100 times better. Although I'm not sure if anyone will swap out the switches on this board for a reason we'll talk about later. You also get a mini screwdriver and an Allen wrench, so you can take apart the board and tinker if you don't already have tools. And there's keycaps for Mac and Windows Legends. So when you buy the keyboard, there are 3 different options. You have the special edition in black and white, and you can't go wrong with either color. Then you also have the standard edition. So the special edition comes at around $10 more with the wooden accents on the side. The main differences are mostly visual. The keycap shapes are also different between the special edition and the standard edition, but we'll talk more about that later. I personally prefer the special edition. It's only $10 extra, and it makes the keyboard feel super premium, like it's worth $100 more just from these nice wooden accents on the side. Now, Keychron is also one of the few companies out there that support ISO layouts and international legends such as DE, UK, and Nordic for those of you that are outside the US, and this is a huge win. More companies gotta be doing that. When I first started using this keyboard, I was pretty shocked by the typing experience. It's surprisingly good. I thought it would be bad stabilizers and wobbly keys, but the keys feel ultra stable and have a nice flocky bottom out, unlike other Hall effect keyboards that I've used. Usually they sound pretty hollow and sort of ugh, but the Keychron absolutely nails the typing experience. Go Keychron! Good job. This is due to a few reasons, one of which is the dual rail magnetic switches. These are the new Hall effect switches that Keychron is using in their K2 HE and their Q1 HE. And I have to say, I am impressed. I do have a big problem with them too. They're not compatible with other HE keyboards, which is extremely frustrating. I have all these HE keyboards and nothing works with each other. I tried these switches out on the Wooting keyboard and they fit into the PCB and the plate, but they don't actuate. They don't work at all. So if you want to try other switches on this keyboard, you're out of luck. For modularity, Keychron gets an F. So I don't understand why every HE keyboard is trying to have their own proprietary switch. Could we all just standardize the switches to work for every Hall effect keyboard? That being said though, the dual rail switches that come with this board are pretty good. They're called dual rail because the switch stem has 2 rails instead of 1. How unexpected, right? This adds extra stability to the key press and minimizes stem wobble. Basically, it makes the keyboard feel a whole lot better when you're typing. And I wish the 80HE had an option for dual rail switches, but unfortunately they don't. I think the dual rail switches are a lot better than the normal style. So right now, the Keychron K2 HE only comes with the Gateron dual rail nebula switch, which is a little heavier than the Cherry MX Red switch with a bottom out of 60 grams and an actuation force of 50 grams. Now on their website, Keychron shows 3 different switch options, one that's lighter and another that's heavier. But for some reason, you're stuck with only the nebula switch option. If you want to use the other 2, you have to buy them separately and then install them yourself. Boo, Keychron. So the keycaps on the K2 HE are an OSA profile, so this is on the special edition only, and OSA refers to the keycap shape. They feel similar to normal keycaps like Cherry, except they're more rounded at the top to fit the shape of your finger, and they're a little taller too. They're double shot PBT, which means they don't leave any grease marks from your fingers when you're typing, and they have 2 layers of plastic, hence the double shot in the name. One thing that I've noticed is that Keychron uses a lot less plastic inside their keycaps. It's probably to save some money on materials. Usually, the double shot plastic goes all the way down the sides on the back, but on Keychron keycaps, it's really only at the top where the legends are. It doesn't make a huge difference in terms of the sound, because of the top of the keycap is where they wear down anyways, but they are saving money. The keyboard also has Keychron's updated stabilizers. Basically, they made them taller and thicker to improve their quality. Now, Keychron's always had a problem with their stabilizers for some odd reason, and I did notice a slight improvement with these new ones. pretty good. Although some of the keys still do sound inconsistent, such as the backspace. It's a little more sluggish. So here's what the stabilizers sound like. So it sounds great, but then I found something completely unexpected while testing farther. I thought you were all getting scammed. On the Keychron website, it says the K2 HE is gasket mounted, but after taking it apart, I realized there are no gaskets. Did they lie? Are they trying to trick you? So I reached out to Keychron and asked what was going on, and they said it was just a mistake on their website. The keyboard is actually tray mount. Then they updated it on their sales page and all is fixed in the world. So when the keyboard was on Kickstarter, they didn't mention that it was gasket mounted at all, so I do believe this is an honest mistake. But if you did buy it thinking that it was gasket mounted, I'd reach out to customer support and see if I can get a refund. So to take the K2 HE apart, you have to pull off most of the keycaps and unscrew a million different screws. Then you gotta take off the screws on the side to remove the accents. And now you have access. You can pop off the plate, the PCB, and the switches. And underneath everything, you get this nice layer of silicone with these little bumps on them. What are these? I was curious about what these were for, so I asked Keychron. And apparently it's to reduce vibration and unwanted sounds while typing. Pretty cool idea. On the bottom side of the silicone, there are these square cutouts. Now the case doesn't have these cutouts, so I asked Keychron why they did this, and they mentioned it was to make the keyboard lighter. And why would you want to make a keyboard lighter? I really think they did it to save money on materials, just like how they did it on their keycaps. And now they're not using as much silicone, probably to save money. Either way, I don't think it impacts the typing experience too much. It's still a pretty hefty keyboard and it sounds great. So for Hall Effect keyboards, software is a big deal. It's really important. You want to be able to easily change the actuation distance. You want to use features like rapid tappy, nappy, stappy, spitty, brappy, whatever it is, and rapid trigger. So how good is the Keychron software? Well, it's not as good as Wooting's browser-based software, to be completely honest, but it's a lot better than what I've seen from other gaming companies. Keychron has their own web browser-based software called the Keychron Launcher, which looks like they built off of the open source software called VIA, which is also browser-based software, and it does a pretty good job. It makes it easy to change the settings on the keyboard. You can change the lighting, the actuation. You have all these unique features like dynamic keystrokes. They do have some work to do to make it as good as Wooting, but when it comes to software, the gap is starting to close between Wooting and the competition. If you're a gamer, the biggest drawback to this keyboard is the polling rate. The polling rate on the K2 HE is only 1000 Hz or 1 millisecond compared to Wooting's 8000 Hz or 0.25 milliseconds. But I think polling rate is a bit overrated, especially when it comes to keyboards. If you're a pro gamer, I can understand why you'd care, but for 99% of gamers, 1000 Hz polling rate is good enough and you won't be able to notice a difference. However, you will notice a much bigger distance by simply shortening the actuation distance, which you can do with the software. You can put it as low as 0.1 millimeter, but I found 1 millimeter to be the sweet spot where you don't accidentally press keys while resting your fingers on top. Since testing HE keyboards, I've noticed a pretty big difference when gaming or even typing with a shorter actuation distance. I'm pretty used to it now, so when I go over to a regular mechanical keyboard, I make a lot more mistakes. So once you figure out the right distance for you, you might never want to go back to a normal mechanical switch either. Now I make less mistakes and I type so much faster too. So compared to the 80HE, I think the K2HE has really found its spot in the market. If you want something that's more affordable than Wooting, with a better typing experience, with more quality of life features, and looks pretty good too, the K2HE is a great option, even if it's not as good for gaming. But it's not perfect. It has poor switch compatibility, it's got a tray mount, and the polling rate is a little slower than other gaming keyboards out there. Here's a sound test with both options.